Hey everybody, Zach here. Just wanted to point something out that I didn't know if any of you guys have noticed. I'm sure a good majority of people have, but a lot of you guys feed into it and help. And what I mean by this is whenever the government or social media or the news puts out something like uh, the whole gender thing, like when that was going on, like putting the transgender bathrooms or whatever, yeah, whatever that was. All this is same thing with like the lady that was talking on the news that wanted to change the way we say things, like mankind, anything that has man in it, or just association by gender, like, calling a woman, you just call her a person. Okay, that's just a bunch of bullshit. You're worrying about stuff that doesn't even matter. Why do you get offended? You're a woman, okay? He is a man. We call it mankind. Just because we call it mankind, who gives a fuck? Nobody. Apparently that woman does, and a small group of other people. But why the fuck would that be on the news? There is bigger things that we need to be worried about right now. We got North Korea up our ass. We got fucking Mr. Tweet, fucking president, that tweets everything he hears about on Twitter, and then he's twittering back and forth between fucking Kim Jong Un and fucking himself. It's just a war of words, and it's freaking retarded. It's absolutely stupid. It's just it's like, who's got the bigger dick here? Basically, they're just fighting over who's got the bigger dick. Oh, mine's bigger than yours. Oh, no, 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 Mr. Rocket Man, I got the biggest dick. That's kind of what this is. They're playing whose dick's bigger, who's got the best hand, who caught the bigger fish, whatever. They're fighting over power. That's all it is. I can't even explain how frustrating this makes me. That nobody notices it. We got all this social media bullshit that goes on, okay? About, Black Lives Matter, which, don't get me wrong, Black Lives Matter, all lives matter in any case, but making a big deal about it is just pointless. I mean, yeah, people were getting shot, but people always get shot. They got shot before this. They got shot after this. I'm sure there's still people getting shot now by officers that didn't really deserve to be shot. I understand that. Now you should understand that too. It's always going on. It's not going on just in that instance when you see it on social media. It is going on 24/7. It has been going on, and it probably won't stop. Because you can have one bad egg, but it doesn't mean you're going to find all of them. Now, I just want to get people to realize and understand that the government is putting out stories on social media and news and stuff like that to distract you from what's really going on. And if you don't notice it by now, you need to climb up underneath that rock that you've been under, and you need to explore. You need to look around. They're putting up fucking cell phone towers that are giving people fucking burns because it's giving off like a certain frequency of sound that can harm you and give you cancer, cause cancer, and they put them close together. They got all this power, 5G towers. They got all this power running to these 5G towers, and it's burning people. Now, why do you need all that power? The fucking cables, the power cables are like that thick. You don't need that much power to transmit data and receive data. Those are death towers. if the if the cell phone companies had a bad egg, like I said earlier, you can find one bad egg, but might not find all of them. A bad egg could decide he wanted to, or she wanted to, uh, obliterate us, basically. They could turn those fucking 5G towers up frequency wise. They turn the frequency up, which starts giving us burns and starts hurting us physically and internally. They could potentially microwave the whole country. I don't know if you've noticed, but these 5G towers are fucking everywhere and within miles apart from each other. I was in a neighborhood yesterday where there was 3 of them in one neighborhood within 200-300 feet apart, and they're giving off radiation. They are hurting people. Now they've released information that this is actually happening and that these frequencies do cause cancer, and it is a B2 or B4 carcinogen or something like that. And it can cause melatonin deficiencies, shit like that, just, blood on the brain, cancer. It's just ridiculous. It just keeps going and going and going. Now, if we don't solve these problems within the next 4 or 5 years, just about every person in the United States, or anywhere that there's 5G towers, they started it in Russia, I'm pretty sure. They started the 5G thing in Russia, or Germany, or something like that, or Yugoslavia, I don't fucking know for sure. But everyone's going to have cancer at some point. Everyone is going to have cancer already in them when they're born because of this low frequency fucking shit that's causing cancer. It's just ridiculous. And basically what the communication companies are saying when they put those 5G towers up in a community that is maybe like 2-3 blocks, and they put like 3 or 4 towers within that community, you are harming them physically and mentally. These people are having like legit depression, anxiety, fucking, they're getting blisters on their arms internally under the skin because of the frequencies they're using is causing cancer and burning people because of the high the current of electricity that is flowing through those towers is creating an area of bad energy, I guess you could say. But I don't really have much more to say other than that. Just pay attention, look around, watch stuff. I mean, stop staring at your phones all the time. Why do you think we have those fuckers now? Is because that gives the government leeway to do shit behind our back without us noticing, because we are so involved with social media and our phones. I mean, I don't know how many times a day I drive down the road and I see somebody driving with their face in their phone like this. Like, are you kidding me, people? Are you fucking kidding me? You need to pay attention of what goes on around you. If you're not vigilant, you could be mugged, you could be shot at any moment, and you wouldn't even fucking know because you don't pay attention. Now is basically what the government is doing to us right now, is that they're distracting us with our phones and electronics and things like that to do their own black projects, like blacklist projects, like the Blue Light Project. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, where they can take I don't really know how it works exactly, but it's like a projector basically. It's called blue light, and they project it. My screen just turned off. And they can have an object projection that you can't see with your naked eye, but you can see on another camera that is connected to a TV screen, so you can see you interacting with objects that aren't there. And you can actually feel these objects because it brings in particles closer together, the blue light does, so you can actually feel what's not there, if that makes sense. Now, they've done this with zoos. They've done it with amusement parks and shit like that, where you can go in there and say like Animal World or Animal World or whatever, Sea World. You can go in there and they would have an area that would have like 2 or 3 cameras up at the top, and then they would have like, all right, I seen a video with a polar bear, and it was like projecting water on the floor, and the polar bear was getting into the water while these girls were petting it, and they could actually feel the interaction with that entity or whatever you want to call it because of this blue light. But kind of off track there, but just pay attention, guys. Don't let the government fool you, you know. And then another thing too, gun control. I don't know why people are for gun control. Yes, okay, so people shoot other people, okay? Guns don't shoot people. People shoot people. I hope you understand that. Okay, and with that said, we do have an epidemic that's going on where there's a lot of school shootings going on. Now, we could potentially solve this problem if we fortified these weaknesses that we have in our country, in our school system even. If we can make these weaknesses strengths, and I know we can. If you armed every all right, let me rephrase this. If you put almost like a driver's test, you have to have experience and stuff like that, but also you have to have a mental analysis done to see if you are potentially dangerous or not, and or to harm yourself or others in the process of owning a weapon. Now everyone's freaking out about AR-15s and shit like that. I don't really see what the big deal is. All right, yeah, they got shot up using an AR-15, okay? But you can go in with any other weapon that can have more firepower than an AR-15. I got a fucking rifle, just, a hunting rifle. It holds 8 rounds to a clip. I can go to the fucking gun store not that far away from here and get an extended clip for that bitch and put 18 to 20 rounds in it. And it's a semi-auto. Now you can't tell me that getting rid of AR-15s is going to solve the problem. It's not going to solve the problem, because there is ways that we can make guns, manufacture them ourselves in our own homes now, without having to buy it through a company or having a company make it for you. We can do all this stuff on our own. We don't need any of these big companies to make this stuff for us. We do it, and we can do it. Now, with that said, we got to find a way that we can control that. I don't know, make some sort of ammunition or something that can't be fired out of a homemade gun. It has to have a certain, it's got a certain pressure point on it or something that you have to have the correct firing pin for or something. I don't know. Something along those lines, though. But if we armed every teacher, if we gave every teacher a gun, well, not gave, obviously they have to go through the assessment and everything. And you can't tell me if someone that was potentially wanting to hurt someone in that school and they came in there with a gun, and you got all these teachers, 20 some, 15 some teachers, depending on what school you're at, all have a gun. Now you can't tell me that that's not safer than having no guns at all or one gun. Now the police department, if you were at school, most police departments, their reaction time is 10 to 15 minutes. Whether it's a school or not, it takes them 10 to 15 minutes to get there. Now, if we had teachers with weapons, we wouldn't have to wait for the police officer to get there. And potentially, people could die within that 10 or 15 minutes. Potentially. And if you had if you had teachers armed with just with a handgun, that's all, could potentially save multiple lives. Because you can't tell me that one guy is going to walk up in that school and shoot 18 teachers with a gun. It's not going to happen. You're not going to kill 18 teachers with a gun. Or 18 people with a gun, even. You go in there, one person with one gun, and you start shooting up the school, and there's teachers everywhere. It could have been lunch. It could have been recess. God forbid. But you never know when it could happen. And you never know if you can get to the phone at that time, or if the officers would even be alerted at that moment that the school was being shot up, that people were being killed. And it would still take them 10 to 15 minutes to get to the school, depending on what school you're at. It's just crazy how easy we can fix these problems. But everyone just has their own opinion, which I understand everyone has their own opinion. I am expressing my own opinion right now. I'm expressing it to the fullest extent that I can, because I don't do this all the time. But you got to come to the realization that there's much bigger fish to fry than what our government tells us. They want us to worry about little things that have no meaning. Well, they might have meaning to some people, but in reality, they don't mean nothing. It means nothing. It's just an uproar about something that the government chose because they knew that people would react to it in a negative way. Don't be fooled, people. Pay attention to what's around you. Pay attention to your surroundings. Just keep your eyes out. Don't let them get the best of us. We are better than this. We don't let small things get to us like this. We are Americans. Now, that's all I got to say. Pretty sure. I don't know if I said this once or twice before, but fuck it.